G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life, and I'm currently about an hour north of New Plymouth on my way to Auckland where my Lexus will be staying, and I won't, because a fan of the channel hit me up a couple months ago wanting to buy this car, and I figured given I've done a fair few videos with it and don't really have much interest in modifying it, it was an offer too good to refuse given in this current market most people aren't particularly fond of 5-litre V8 rear-wheel drive performance sedans. But before the ISF goes, I wanted to discuss 4 things that I've learned from the ownership experience, and at the end let you know whether this is still the best car I've ever bought. The first thing I've learned is that you just can't beat a naturally aspirated V8. While modern turbo 6s might have better fuel consumption and more modification potential and more torque down low, that sound is just utterly unbeatable. And the other absolutely fantastic thing about these V8s is that what you do on the throttle is what the engine does. Turbo cars, I find, they can be a little bit worrisome at times because what you do on the throttle, there's kind of that delay because of course the turbo has to kick in half a second after you stab the throttle, and by then, you know, you're not 100% sure what's going to happen. Whereas with these V8s, man, what you do on the throttle is what the car does. The second thing I've learned is that if you want a car that can do everything, even in 2023 when everyone's buying hatchbacks and SUVs, you just can't beat a family sedan. Not too big, not too small, you've got a decent sized boot. I've never run out of room in this thing, but it's rear wheel drive, it's balanced, it's got excellent steering feel, fantastic brakes, and you can do absolutely everything with a car like this. You can take it on track, as I've done twice, and it was absolutely incredible. You can tear it down a back road like this and have so much fun, a massive smile on your face. And you can take it on a great big long road trip, as I've done multiple times, drive it from Wellington to Auckland and back, while getting 9-10 litres per 100k. It's comfortable, it's quiet, it's got cruise control, it's got a banging sound system. But there are a couple more sort of unfortunate things that I've learned about this car, and one of them is that I miss my manuals. As much as the transmission in this car is really good on track and really good when you're hammering along a back road like I just did, and it's perfectly smooth and comfortable when you get it out on the open road, there's something even more satisfying about overtaking a car where you've rev matched down from 6th to 3rd gear, you've got the revs peaking at 6.5 grand, right on the verge of VTEC, and when you nail it, upshift into 4th as you go past them. It makes the whole experience so much more satisfying. And when you're on a winding back road like that, when you come into every corner and you downshift, perfectly heel toe into 2nd gear, wind it out, up into 3rd, up into 4th, with that sonorous induction noise from the front. What I'm describing is my last 2 Accords, my Accord Euro S, my Euro R. That was the dream I lived with those cars, and unfortunately, paddle shifters just don't give you that same effect. And the last thing I learned is that I don't need to spend $30,000 on a car to enjoy myself. Which is why the car I've replaced the ISF with is still from a premium brand, so it has most of the same features. It's still got a naturally aspirated engine, but it costs 1/3 as much, has a manual gearbox, and most importantly, it's still rear-wheel drive. It might seem like a backward step to go from a 5-litre V8 to a 3-litre straight 6, but I'm just having more fun driving my little 130i. Being able to change your own gears, so not having to rely on the 8-speed auto to downshift slowly and jerkily, and just being that much more involved in the drive, along with a slightly lighter, more nimble chassis, a little less power, so you can always be foot to the floor without going too quick. But most importantly for me, I now have a hang of a lot more money saved towards a house, and I'm having more fun. These little 130s are severely underrated. When I first drove one up in Auckland a couple months ago, I went, imagine how good this would be with a manual. Found a tidy one on Trade Me, and here I am, and I could not be happier. While it's sad that the ISF will no longer be featuring on the channel, even though the videos were nowhere near as good, I look back on the videos that I made with my old Accord with more fond memories than I do with the ISF, and I look forward to driving this 130i more than I did my Lexus. We've got some big plans for this thing. It's going to be involved as part of another cheap car challenge that we're doing with about 15 sort of Top Gear style episodes coming out later this year. I've got modifications planned for it, and by the time it's done, this is going to be a very, very cool little car. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time.